All right, radiant Taurus beings, prepare yourselves, because April is not just bringing blossoms and sunshine, it's delivering a celestial symphony of fortune, orchestrated just for you. Now, before you even consciously registered the title of this video, didn't a little spark ignite within you? A gentle hum of recognition, a subtle vibration resonating deep in your Taurus soul? That's the universe whispering, my dears, and it's speaking directly to you right now. This isn't about a sudden, jarring upheaval, no dramatic shifts that throw your grounded nature into disarray. April's energy for you, my steadfast Taurians, is more akin to a gentle, persistent current, a steady rise, a graceful flow. Imagine the earth warming beneath your feet as spring truly takes hold. That's the kind of subtle yet powerful transformation we're talking about. It's in the very air you breathe, a quiet promise of beautiful things about to unfold. And that's why these aren't just any random numbers we're about to unveil. These are cosmic keys, dear Taurus, activators, resonating anchors designed to awaken something magnificent within your very being. They're not just about fleeting luck, they're about unlocking the abundant potential that's already inherent within you, perhaps just waiting for the right moment to blossom. Before we delve into these powerful numerical codes, let's take a moment, shall we? Place a hand gently on your heart, take a slow, deep inhale, and as you exhale, release any tension you might be holding in your jaw, your shoulders, anywhere in your body. Let your entire system know, right here, right now, that there's absolutely nothing to prove. This isn't about striving, pushing, or forcing. This is purely about allowing, about opening yourself to receive the beautiful abundance that the cosmos is so eager to bestow upon you. Think of your mind as a serene lotus flower, gently unfolding its petals to the sun. This is the frequency we're inviting, one that doesn't demand, doesn't pressure, but gently, lovingly invites. It's a space where wealth isn't some distant reward you have to chase down, but a natural, harmonious response to your very being, to your inherent Taurus energy. These numbers, these sacred codes, they're not here to mend anything broken within you, because you, my dear Taurus, are already whole, already magnificent. They are here to echo that wholeness, to amplify your inherent completeness. Some of these numbers might feel instantly familiar, like a song your soul already knows. Others might stir something within you that's still nameless, still taking shape. But trust in the energy, Taurus. Stay present with each number as it's revealed. Allow it to resonate within you at its own perfect pace. And as you do, you'll begin to feel it. The subtle shift in your energy field, the gentle movement of money without strain, the quiet knowing that success is finding you right where you are, in your grounded, authentic Taurus essence. Because the most potent transformations, my friends, often begin not with frantic action, but with profound stillness. It's in that quiet listening space that true magic unfolds. So stay with me, breathe deeply, let your body absorb these frequencies, not just your mind. And as anything stirs within you, a feeling, an insight, a whisper of intuition, honor it. Write it down, let it land, share it in the comments below. Perhaps simply type, "I am ready to receive," or whatever phrase resonates with your soul's quiet knowing in this moment. If this message resonates, if it sparks a flicker of recognition within you, then by all means, give that like button a loving tap. Share this abundant message with your fellow Taurus souls. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Inner Secrets so you never miss these life-altering cosmic updates tailored just for you. But most importantly, dear Taurus, stay present. Stay with this energy. Let each part of this message meet you exactly where you are in your journey, with compassion and understanding. And now, with a gentle softness surrounding you, a space of openness and receptivity, let's begin. Because the very first number is already rising, already making its presence known. It's not always a thunderous roar, is it, Taurus? Sometimes the most profound shifts begin in the quietest corners of our days, in those seemingly insignificant moments that often go unnoticed. Perhaps it's when you reach for something on your desk, and instead of just grabbing it, you feel a gentle nudge to clear the clutter around it. Maybe it's when you pause before making an impulse purchase, and a quiet voice within whispers, "Do you truly need this?" Or perhaps it's simply when the same number keeps appearing again and again, gently tapping at the edges of your awareness, not demanding change, but softly, persistently offering it. The energy of 14 carries this very whisper, my dear Taurus. Not a dramatic breakthrough that shakes your world, but a subtle yet profound rearrangement, a grounding shift. And for you, grounded Taurus, this is where true thriving begins. As the world around you starts to quicken its pace in April, as others rush headlong into action, you, beautiful Taurus, are being called back, not to stagnate, not to halt your progress, but to steady yourself, to listen intently for the subtle rearrangements happening beneath the surface of your routines, to notice where money might flow with more ease, where time might stretch out and offer moments of spaciousness, and where abundance is gently requesting more room to simply be. You might even feel this shift in your body first, a sudden, inexplicable desire to move at a slower, more deliberate pace. Perhaps a yearning to connect with the earth, to feel the soil beneath your bare feet, to declutter not just your physical spaces, but your energetic ones as well. This isn't just spring cleaning, my friends, it's energetic clearing. Because true wealth, lasting abundance, doesn't settle into chaos. It seeks out the stillness within you, that quiet inner space that declares, I am ready, not because I have done enough, but because I have become enough. There's a beautiful invitation here, Taurus, to revisit those habits you established when you were simply surviving rather than truly thriving. Were you saying yes to commitments out of fear of missing out? Spending money out of a sense of emptiness? Holding onto possessions just in case, instead of asking yourself, does this truly fit into the life I am consciously building? Number 14 gently reminds you that what once served as protection, what once felt like a necessary shield, might now be the very thing subtly keeping abundance at bay. Not because those habits were inherently wrong, but simply because you have grown, evolved, expanded, and the structures around you are now yearning to reflect that magnificent growth. So perhaps this is the month to gently, lovingly reshape the way you manage your calendar. Not to cram more tasks and obligations into it, but to consciously protect what truly matters to your soul. Maybe it's time to track your spending, not from a place of control or restriction, but from a space of genuine curiosity. To ask yourself, with gentle honesty, does this habit still serve the life I am now building, the abundant life I am destined for? And if not, can I release it with gratitude for its past service and with grace for my evolving self? The new level of wealth you are calling into your life, dear Taurus, won't arrive through sheer force, through relentless pushing. It will gracefully arrive when you realign your very foundation with the magnificent being you have quietly, steadily become. This isn't about rigid discipline, it's about harmonious resonance. A new rhythm is gently forming beneath your feet, Taurus. And the more you honor that rhythm, the more divinely supported you will feel. You don't have to earn rest. You don't need to apologize for your natural inclination towards slowness and deliberation. In fact, it's precisely in those soft edges of your routine, in those spacious moments you create, where your magnetism strengthens, where you invite the sacred into the everyday. And perhaps, as you sit quietly with this gentle shift, you'll feel something subtle unlock. Not a grand, dramatic door bursting open, but perhaps a window gently ajar, a soft breeze of clarity wafting through, a breath you didn't even realize you were holding, finally released. Let it go now, Taurus. Let it guide you towards what's next, not through a sense of urgency or frantic pushing, but through the quiet hum of alignment, of your very being returning to its natural, abundant frequency. And just beyond that gentle pause, another number is beginning to rise, calling a different facet of your being gently forward. Some energies move like a powerful crashing wave, others, like this one, arrive as a breath you didn't notice until it deepened, until it filled you with a sense of calm and clarity. That's the subtle, yet potent energy of 3. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It leans in, whispers, stirs something gentle and hopeful inside you that has already been patiently waiting for its moment to emerge. For you, grounded Taurus, this isn't a number of disruption, of sudden upheaval. It's a soft, inviting call to lean just slightly forward, into new space, into a version of yourself that doesn't require you to abandon everything you've built, but simply to make more room within what's already working, already solid. Expansion for you, dear Taurus, doesn't typically look like a dramatic leap into the unknown. It's more akin to layering, to gently placing one new idea, one fresh possibility, lovingly on top of your already strong and stable foundation. It sounds like a what if I whispered to a trusted friend, a new practice you try in the quiet of your own space without needing to announce it to the world, a doorway you pass every day that suddenly feels a little less closed, a little more inviting. This number doesn't push. It gently, lovingly invites. And if you're listening with that quiet, intuitive part of your being, you'll feel it rising in small, subtle ways. A fresh thought that won't quite go away, a subtle shift in a conversation, a sudden moment of clarity in something you once overlooked, something you dismissed as unimportant. The number 3 holds the potent energy of co-creation, of allowing something beautiful to come alive, not because you force it into existence, but because you consciously say yes to its inherent possibility. If you've been waiting for the right time to embark on a new venture, to nurture a budding idea, to take a gentle step towards a long-held dream, this is your sign, dear Taurus, that the right time doesn't need to be perfect, flawlessly planned, or guaranteed to succeed. It simply needs to be real, authentic, aligned with your inner knowing. Try without needing to prove your worth. Begin without feeling the pressure to finish everything perfectly, immediately. Sometimes, Taurus, simply opening your hands, even slightly, is all it takes for the seed of opportunity to gently land in your palm. You may even notice that the very moment you consciously stop guarding your energy so tightly, something soft and beautiful begins to flow in. An unexpected opportunity, an insightful conversation, a sense of readiness you didn't even feel yesterday. This is not mere coincidence, my grounded friends. Your energetic field has been subtly shifting for a while now, and this month, it's reaching a beautiful place of openness, a space where you can gracefully welcome more abundance, not because you've emptied yourself, depleted your resources, but because you've cultivated enough inner strength, enough wisdom, enough groundedness to gracefully expand. Let this growth be gentle, Taurus. Let it feel like a slow, steady inhale, like something beautiful, blooming without rush, without pressure. There is no frantic urgency here, just the quiet, graceful unfolding of a new shape for your life, one that still holds all of who you are at your core, but stretches just enough to make space for the beautiful possibilities that are gracefully arriving. And as you feel this opening, however small, allow yourself to truly notice what begins to shift and move around it. Because sometimes, my dears, the smallest, most subtle movement creates the biggest, most transformative wave. And somewhere, just beyond that gentle wave, another frequency begins to hum. A deeper current, preparing to rise and carry something far more certain, far more grounded into your conscious view. Some numbers arrive in our lives like a mirror, not to show us something brand new, something we've never seen before, but to gently, powerfully ask if we still believe in what we've already chosen, in the path we've already set our hearts upon. The energy of 28 is not loud. It doesn't arrive with flashing signs, screaming for immediate change. It simply lingers, a quiet presence, asking softly if you are still aligned, still anchored to your inner truth, still willing to walk the path you once felt so deeply called to. Not for external validation, not for anyone else's approval, but purely because your inner knowing, your deep Taurus wisdom still stands firm. Even when the outer results haven't yet fully manifested, haven't yet become tangibly real. Taurus, this is a moment when the earth beneath your feet might subtly shift, not because it's crumbling, giving way, but because it's beautifully, gracefully adjusting, making room for something even more solid, more expansive to emerge. You might feel a pause, a question lingering in the air, a quiet discomfort that doesn't quite name itself, but what it's truly asking, in its gentle, persistent Taurus way, is this. Do you still trust the seeds you've planted, the efforts you've lovingly invested, the values you've diligently held, the vision that might still be invisible to others, still unfolding in the unseen realms? Are you still holding them close, Taurus? Not with a grasping, anxious energy, but with a quiet, unwavering loyalty to your inner truth. This number, 28, doesn't test you through chaos or dramatic upheaval. It tests you through silence, through the stillness between tangible signs, through that in-between space where nothing on the surface seems to be moving, but everything is actually aligning, shifting, and preparing behind the scenes. Can you stay steady without needing constant external proof, Taurus? Can you keep choosing what you know, deep in your heart, is right for you, even when it doesn't yet bring immediate rewards, when it doesn't yet shower you with tangible results? When 28 gently appears in your awareness, it's not a cosmic punishment, not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's a beautiful invitation, a gentle checkpoint, a soft pause that lovingly invites you to strengthen your inner frequency, to deepen your commitment to your vision, not to suddenly switch direction or abandon your carefully laid plans. And this, dear Taurus, is where the true magic lies. Because when you gracefully navigate this moment, not by frantic action or forceful pushing, but through grounded presence, the current of abundance that has been circling, patiently waiting, finally lands. It finds you, Taurus, not because you desperately chased after it, but because you stood still long enough, grounded enough, receptive enough for it to gracefully arrive. Your innate gift, beautiful Taurus, has always been endurance, but not the kind of endurance that relentlessly pushes through obstacles. It's the kind of endurance that roots deeply, that stays steadfast, that lovingly holds space for growth and manifestation. And now, the question isn't, should I keep going, but can I soften into where I already am? Can I trust the process, even when the world around me subtly whispers doubts, when external validation feels elusive? Because just beyond this quiet test, this gentle checkpoint, there's a beautiful shift waiting to unfold, one that might not look dramatic or outwardly impressive on the surface, but carries a deep, unwavering momentum that you can feel resonating in your very bones. And as this quiet confidence begins to rise within you once more, you might notice something else, a subtle release of tension, a breath that goes deeper, a quiet sense that the ground you've been so diligently building is even stronger, even more solid than it initially seemed. And with that grounded knowing, something new starts humming just below the surface of your awareness, an energy that no longer tests your faith, but beautifully rewards it, asking not for proof, but for the courage to open just a little further, to receive with even greater grace. There is a kind of wealth, Taurus, that doesn't require relentless growth, constant expansion. It simply needs balance, harmonious equilibrium. The number 6 brings this gentle reminder, not through dramatic events or external upheavals, but through the subtle rhythms of your everyday life. Taurus, you are known for building, for maintaining, for ensuring things stay steady, grounded, secure. But this month, the balance you're being asked to create isn't about doing more, achieving more, striving harder. It's about allowing enough, being enough, trusting in the inherent abundance of enoughness. What if enough wasn't the finish line you're constantly striving to reach, but the very foundation upon which you stand? What if you didn't have to keep proving your worth through relentless endurance, through constant generosity, through always being the one who gives a little extra, who stretches themselves thin to meet every expectation? The truth is, Taurus, the most abundant moments often arrive when we consciously stop trying to earn them, not because we stop caring, but because we finally, lovingly, start honoring our own sacred edges, our own inherent limits. Balance isn't always symmetrical. It's not always perfectly equal in every moment. Sometimes it gracefully looks like choosing rest over relentless productivity. Sometimes it means saying yes to an offer that feels light, joyful, and aligned, even if it doesn't look outwardly impressive on paper. And sometimes it looks like saying no, even when you could easily say yes, simply because your wise body, your grounded Taurus intuition, deeply knows the true energetic cost. The number 6 doesn't measure success in tangible outcomes, in external achievements. It reads the subtle frequency behind your choices, and it beautifully amplifies what is made in genuine alignment with your truest self. Taurus, your energy is deeply grounded. You are exquisitely attuned to the earth, to what is real, what is sustainable, what truly endures. And yet, even in that inherent groundedness, you can sometimes forget that true sustainability always begins with the self. You don't have to explain why you turned down that invitation, Taurus. You don't need to justify why you left that message unread until morning. You are not here to fill every role, every gap, every expectation that the world might place upon you. You are here to be whole, and wholeness, dear Taurus, doesn't require constant output, relentless giving. What you tend with conscious presence, with loving attention, naturally grows with ease. But true presence only blossoms when there's space for it, when there's spaciousness in your days, in your energy field. When your time is overly accounted for, rigidly scheduled, your precious energy inevitably leaks, dissipates. When you say yes, out of politeness, out of obligation, your inner clarity inevitably dulls. The number 6 is gently, lovingly asking you, where in your beautiful life are you stretching past your natural, inherent line? Where are you offering more than what's truly in joyful flow? More than what truly nourishes your soul in return? These aren't harsh critiques, Taurus. They're soft nudges, gentle guidance, lovingly guiding you back to your own sacred center. Not so you can retreat from the world, but so you can beautifully, gracefully realign with your truest essence. Balance isn't a distant goal to be reached, a destination to arrive at. It's a vibration to be felt, a frequency to embody. It hums quietly in your chest when you say yes from a place of inner truth. It softens your belly when you say no without a trace of guilt. It lingers in your breath when you consciously pause before reacting impulsively. This kind of balance, Taurus, doesn't make you less productive, less effective in the world. It makes you magnetic. It subtly, powerfully shifts your entire frequency from one of striving effort to one of effortless invitation. And what gracefully follows that profound shift is not always immediate, not always instantly visible, but it is utterly certain. Money that once felt stalled, stagnant, begins to move again. Not because you did more, worked harder, but because you stopped resisting your own natural, abundant pace. Clients feel drawn to your authentic energy. Opportunities arrive without forceful pushing or frantic chasing. Support shows up in unexpected ways, not because you consciously called for it, but because you lovingly created the spaciousness to receive it. The number 6 doesn't need to knock loudly, Taurus. It just flows effortlessly to the places that feel calm enough, open enough, grounded enough to gracefully receive. And as this current of balanced abundance settles gently within you, another energy begins to rise, not louder, more forceful, but sharper, more precise. A quiet clarity that doesn't ask for balance, but for focused intention. A clear signal that it's time to gently name what's ready to step forward. What has been patiently waiting in the wings, yearning to be brought into the light. And that energy, my dear Taurus, is beautifully carried in the graceful shape of 17. Not every seed needs to be constantly watched, fussed over, to grow, does it? Some seeds simply need time, rich, dark soil, and your quiet, unwavering trust in the natural cycles of life. The number 17 carries this very kind of energy, soft, almost invisible on the surface, yet deeply, profoundly potent beneath. Taurus, this is the moment when something long set aside, perhaps even long forgotten, begins to stir again within you. You might not even fully realize you have been patiently waiting for it until it gracefully arrives in its own perfect timing. A message out of the blue, a gentle refund you weren't expecting, an old connection rekindled, a door that once quietly closed, now creaking open again, without fanfare, without noise. There is absolutely no need to chase after it, Taurus. What truly belongs to you, what is divinely meant for you, gracefully returns without force, without struggle. That's the quiet, unwavering promise of 17. And for you, beautiful Taurus, whose very nature is slow, steady, deliberate, this number doesn't disrupt your natural rhythm. It beautifully harmonizes with it. It gently reminds you that effort is sacred, yes, but rest is just as holy, just as vital to the cycle of abundance. That not all progress is linear, a constant upward climb, and not all wealth is born of relentless striving. Sometimes, abundance simply arrives because you stayed grounded, because you patiently watered the ground, even when it looked barren, even when external signs seemed scarce. There's a subtle sense of quiet reward woven into this energy, like finding a forgotten $20 bill in the pocket of a coat you haven't worn in ages, or waking up one morning to realize that something you once deeply mourned, something you thought would never heal, has already gracefully mended itself in the quiet hours of the night. The universe, in its infinite wisdom and perfect rhythm, beautifully honors your inherent Taurus patience. And number 17 is that soft, resonant echo of return, of cycles coming full circle, of quiet winds of fortune that make you pause, not to celebrate loudly with boisterous fanfare, but to breathe in deeply that quiet, profound feeling of, yes, I did keep going, I did trust. This isn't about sudden leaps, Taurus. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic displays. It's about subtle, yet profound resonance. A small job that quietly turns into a long-term opportunity, a friend of a friend who serendipitously mentions your name in the right room, a payment you had long given up, expecting that unexpectedly arrives. The kind of abundance that feels like it knows your name, Taurus, because in a very real sense, it truly does. You didn't force it, you didn't manipulate circumstances, you simply aligned with your own inner rhythm, and the universe gracefully responded in kind. And maybe, just maybe, that's the deepest invitation of this gentle energy of 17, not to do more, strive harder, but to trust more deeply, to clear a space on your desk, not because you're frantically preparing for something you have to chase down, but because something beautiful is already gracefully on its way. To check your email, not obsessively, anxiously refreshing every few minutes, but curiously, with a sense of open expectation, remembering that wealth often arrives quietly, gracefully, when your nervous system is calm, when your energetic field is open and receptive, when your breath is deep and steady. The vibration of 17 isn't asking you to begin again, Taurus. It's gently revealing what's already been in motion, working beautifully behind the scenes, in the unseen realms. Your part now, beautiful Taurus, is to soften just enough to gracefully receive it, to let go of the need to measure it, define it, control it too quickly, and simply allow it to land in your life in its own perfect timing. Because what returns to you now may not look exactly like what you once lost, or what you initially expected, but it may be even more beautifully aligned, more deeply supportive, more quietly, profoundly true to your soul's path. And just as that gentle realization settles in, a different kind of energy begins to surface, not one of gentle return, but of forward vision, a subtle yet unmistakable forward pulse, a quiet sense that something new is calling, not to replace what has been restored, but to gracefully build upon it, to expand into even greater possibilities. And that new current, that forward momentum, beautifully arrives with the unmistakable, potent shape of 11. Some doors, my dear Taurus, don't open with physical keys, with forceful pushing or frantic knocking. They open with inner knowing, with a subtle shift in perception, with a quiet alignment of your inner compass. The number 11 brings precisely this kind of opening. Subtle, electric, just a slight widening of your perception that, in truth, changes everything. Taurus, you don't typically rush headlong towards the unseen, the intangible. You are grounded, practical, you value what you can touch, taste, smell, feel, hear. You wait patiently, you trust in the tangible, the verifiable. But this month, something deeper is stirring within you, Taurus. Something that might not make perfect logical sense on paper, but feels unmistakably real in your body. A sensation in your gut, a quiet pull in your heart, a gentle nudge from your intuition that whispers, yes, this. Even when the numbers aren't perfectly aligned, even when the detailed plan isn't crystal clear, somehow, deep down, you know you're right. You know you're on the right path. That's the transformative energy of 11, not rigid logic, not absolute certainty, just profound, unwavering alignment with your inner knowing. And for you, grounded Taurus, that's more radical, more powerfully transformative than it might initially seem. Because when you consciously let go of needing every single piece of the puzzle to perfectly fit before you take a step forward, you create spaciousness for something even more magnificent to gracefully arrive. Flow. You begin trusting not just the individual steps, but the sacred space between them, the pauses, the moments of quiet contemplation. You stop forcing outcomes and start gracefully following the intuitive guidance of your soul. This isn't about abandoning everything you've diligently built, Taurus. It's about softening your grip just enough to hear the next subtle invitation, the gentle whisper of your inner wisdom. The message that wasn't in your overflowing inbox, but in the quiet rhythm of your breath. The brilliant idea that didn't emerge from your meticulously crafted to-do list, but from a fleeting yet potent dream. The serendipitous connection that wasn't meticulously planned, but showed up right when you needed it most, perfectly timed by the universe itself. Abundance, in its most graceful forms, often arrives in ways that defy logical proof, that transcend linear understanding. It speaks in subtle patterns, in repeated moments of synchronicity, in symbolic whispers that you keep seeing, hearing, feeling, in persistent thoughts that gently return to your awareness no matter how many times you brush them away, dismiss them as mere coincidence. And when that happens, beautiful Taurus, you're not imagining it, you're not simply projecting wishful thinking, you are truly receiving it. Don't look for the loud, dramatic signs, Taurus. Listen intently for the quiet whispers of your intuition. The client that calls seemingly out of nowhere, the job offer that resurfaces after you had completely given up hope, the creative project that never quite made sense before, but suddenly, magically clicks into perfect alignment. What if true wealth isn't something you endlessly chase, something you desperately strive to attain, but something you consciously recognize, something that was always gracefully on its way, patiently waiting for you to feel it, to sense its subtle presence, before you could tangibly see it in your physical reality? Taurus, this is where your power beautifully shifts, not in your ability to relentlessly push through obstacles, but in your profound ability to pause, to listen, to receive what is already gracefully aligning in your favor. The number 11 gently reminds you that intuition is not the opposite of stability. It's its natural companion. It's what helps you stay deeply rooted in your grounded Taurus essence, while simultaneously reaching for the stars, embracing expansive possibilities. And as you begin to trust those subtle, intuitive signals, something unexpected begins to unfold, not because everything suddenly becomes crystal clear and perfectly mapped out, but because you're no longer resisting your own inner knowing, no longer questioning your own intuitive wisdom. You stop anxiously asking for more external proof, more logical validation, and start lovingly honoring your own inherent resonance, the unique frequency of your Taurus soul. Let yourself gracefully follow that quiet, persistent pull, without needing to articulate a detailed explanation to anyone. Let yourself take inspired action before it all makes perfect sense to your logical mind, not recklessly, impulsively, but reverently, with a deep sense of inner trust, as if you and the universe itself are co-creating something divinely beautiful that only you can truly feel, because, in truth, you are. And number 11 is the sacred gate through which that magnificent co-creation gracefully begins. Now, with this inner compass guiding you more powerfully than just your logical thoughts, with this newfound trust gracefully turning into purposeful movement, another vibration begins to arrive. This one not primarily about sensing, feeling, intuiting, but about consciously building, about giving tangible structure to the profound insights you've received. And it beautifully begins with the unexpected strength, the grounded solidity of 22. There's a rhythm that feels different now. Taurus, not quick, not urgent, but steady, deliberate, like something deep beneath the surface of your life, is beginning to settle into its rightful place, to solidify into enduring form. You've trusted the quiet whispers of your intuition, Taurus. You've opened yourself to receiving where it felt safe and aligned. You've waited patiently where it felt right to pause and contemplate. And now, the number 22 gracefully arrives, not to shake things up, disrupt your carefully laid plans, but to beautifully solidify what's already been forming in the unseen realms, to give tangible structure to the abundant possibilities you've been gently nurturing. This is not a frantic beginning, Taurus. It's a profound deepening. Not every kind of wealth shows up with loud fanfare, with dramatic pronouncements. Some of it, like this energy of 22, gracefully shows up with structure, with conscious planning, with a quiet inner clarity that simply declares, I want this to last. I am building for the long term. You may start noticing a gentle yet persistent urge to organize, to streamline, to finally look at those numbers you've been subtly avoiding, your finances, your business plans, your long-term investments, not out of fear, not from a place of scarcity, but from a new space of profound respect for what you've already built and for what you are now consciously, deliberately building next. This beautiful Taurus is where true legacy begins, not in outward grandeur or ostentatious displays, but in quiet intention, in a spreadsheet that finally makes sense, in the conscious decision to learn more about wise investing, in that powerful moment when you decide to save not just for a sense of fragile safety, but for true financial sovereignty, for enduring abundance. You are not here to merely survive, Taurus. You are here to thrive, to consciously create a life that feels deeply grounded in both inner peace and limitless possibility. The grounded frequency of 22 doesn't rush you, doesn't pressure you to achieve overnight success. It gently, powerfully calls you into conscious awareness, into deliberate choices, into lovingly remembering that true security isn't found in clinging tightly to what you already have, but in confidently knowing you've diligently laid the groundwork to be beautifully supported long-term, no matter what external circumstances may shift or change. If you've been considering seeking mentorship, exploring wise financial guidance, or simply implementing a new, more conscious system to manage your energetic and financial flow, this is your gentle green light, Taurus, not because you've been doing anything wrong, but because you are now exquisitely ready to do it differently, more clearly, more consciously, more aligned with your abundant vision. You don't have to possess all the answers right now, Taurus, but you do need to consciously start the beautiful architecture of your abundant future. And that architecture, my dears, always begins with small, repeatable steps, steps that lovingly honor your natural Taurus pace, but also gracefully stretch your vision, expand your sense of what's truly possible. Gently ask yourself, what does long-term abundance truly look like when I don't lead with fear, when I consciously release scarcity from the equation? What does true wealth mean to me when it's not just about endlessly earning more, but about creating something truly enduring, something that will gracefully support my soul's deepest desires for years to come? This number, 22, isn't loud or demanding because it doesn't need to be. Its potent presence is deeply felt in the way your daily decisions begin to consciously align with something infinitely bigger than just this month, bigger than just this fleeting moment in time. In the way you pause thoughtfully before spending impulsively, not from a place of scarcity or restriction, but from a profound sense of self-respect, of honoring your long-term vision. In the way you intentionally create a solid system that doesn't just hold your money, but beautifully holds your most cherished values, your deepest intentions for creating a truly abundant life. Taurus, this is your sacred season to lay bricks with profound meaning, not to build rigid walls of limitation, but to consciously build something truly magnificent that gracefully lasts, endures, and flourishes. The slow, deliberate care you lovingly give to your foundations now will echo in beautiful, unexpected ways that you won't even fully understand or appreciate yet. You're not just building a future that looks good to the external world, Taurus. You're building a future that feels profoundly right to your soul. One you'll joyfully want to live inside for a long, long time to come. And as this new sense of grounded structure gently settles into your bones, as inner clarity begins to gracefully replace any lingering confusion, something exquisitely gentle starts to arise within you. An energy not of strategy or discipline, but of profound permission. Permission to rest deeply inside all that's been lovingly planted, all that's been diligently nurtured. Because what comes next, dear Taurus, isn't more frantic planning, more relentless striving. It's the exquisite softness that naturally arrives when you deeply know, with unwavering certainty, that the ground beneath your feet is solid, secure, and can gracefully hold it all. April isn't asking for more frantic effort from you, Taurus. It never was. It's only asking for your presence, your full, quiet, grounded presence, the kind of presence that doesn't frantically rush towards the next thing on the to-do list, but lovingly lingers with what's right here, right now, long enough to truly let it bloom, to allow its inherent beauty to fully unfold. These 7 numbers, my dears, aren't rigid tools to control your fate, to manipulate external circumstances. They are gentle invitations to align with your own inner rhythm, to breathe in harmony with the sacred cycles of life, to listen deeply with your wise body before you impulsively act with your overthinking mind. Each number has gracefully opened a door, not to some distant, unattainable destination, but to a sacred place deep within you that has been patiently waiting to be felt, acknowledged, and lovingly embraced. You weren't meant to endlessly chase your wealth, Taurus. You were divinely meant to become the very field where wealth naturally, gracefully wants to land. Not because you try harder, strive more relentlessly, but because you hold steadier, trust deeper, and allow the natural cycles of abundance to unfold in their own perfect timing. The beautiful work you've already done, both seen and unseen, is already speaking powerfully on your behalf. You don't need to prove your worth, Taurus. You don't need to defend your natural pace, your inherent rhythm. Your slow is sacred. Your groundedness is holy. And this month, the universe doesn't reward the fastest, the most outwardly aggressive. It lovingly supports the most attuned, the most receptive, the most gracefully aligned. There's a profound reason each number arrived in the specific way it did. Some soft, some strong, some almost hidden, subtly woven into the fabric of your days. They're not random, Taurus. They beautifully mirror the way abundance naturally comes into your life, quietly, meaningfully, without ostentatious spectacle, but never, ever without profound depth. Some gifts show up as sudden flashes of clarity, others as a gentle pause that gracefully gives you back your breath, your inner spaciousness. And sometimes, what initially looks like a frustrating delay is simply a divine detour, lovingly guiding you into fuller alignment with a version of life that won't burn you out, deplete your precious energy, or leave you feeling perpetually exhausted. Let your soul deeply remember this, Taurus. You don't have to be louder to be truly heard. You don't have to move faster to gracefully arrive at your intended destination. What is truly meant for you already knows precisely how to flow towards you, especially when you consciously stop creating turbulence in your own beautiful stream of abundance. Rest is not resistance, Taurus. It is a graceful receiver. And silence, for you, isn't the absence of purposeful action. It's the fertile soil where your next season of magnificent growth is already quietly, powerfully rooting. Let this be the month, beautiful Taurus, where you consciously stop measuring progress solely by what's outwardly visible, what can be tangibly counted and measured. Let this be the transformative chapter where your wealth becomes a deeply felt feeling of inner abundance, of grounded security, before it fully manifests as a tangible form in your external reality. Maybe it's not in the extra task you frantically add to your list, the extra push you force yourself to make, the extra hustle you relentlessly pursue. Maybe, just maybe, it's exquisitely found in the quiet moment you consciously decide to sit with the stillness, to lovingly water one inspired idea instead of frantically chasing 5 fleeting distractions, to deeply trust that your divine timing is not late, it's just perfectly, divinely right. And if something subtle yet profound shifted within you during this message, however small, however seemingly insignificant, let that be enough for now, Taurus. There's no frantic need to run towards the next insight, the next grand revelation. Just stay right here, in this exquisite softness, in this quiet recognition that you are already in motion, even when you are gracefully, intentionally standing still. Some doors beautifully open when we knock persistently, yes, but others, perhaps even more magically, open when we consciously stop knocking altogether, when we surrender to the flow of divine timing, when we trust in the universe's infinite wisdom. You might not even fully realize which number resonated most deeply within you until days from now, when something unexpectedly clicks into place, an exciting offer, an insightful conversation, a subtle shift in your inner landscape that beautifully transforms everything. That's how these profound energies work, Taurus. Not with loud fanfare or dramatic pronouncements, but with quiet frequency, with subtle knowing, with a deep resonance that gently shifts your entire reality. So, if something landed deeply within you, stay with it, Taurus. Don't rush to immediately apply it, analyze it, categorize it. Just live inside it for a while. Let it gracefully stretch into you. Let it gently move your breath. Let it subtly change the way you stand in your own beautiful presence. And if a certain clarity is beginning to rise within you, let that be your quiet yet powerful whisper back to the universe. I receive what's ready to gracefully flow into my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you from the depths of my heart for showing up so fully, so receptively, for consciously stepping into this radiant energy, for courageously choosing to claim what has always, truly, been divinely meant for you. May April gracefully bring you profound inner peace, a gentle yet abundant current of money flow, and an unexpected opportunity that arrives without noise, just perfectly, divinely on time. If you'd like to stay in this beautiful, abundant field a little longer, gently tap that like button, share this transformative message with your fellow Taurus souls, and subscribe to the Inner Secrets for even more empowering guidance in the weeks and months to come. The universe is ready, beautiful Taurus. And I have a profound, unwavering feeling that you are too. The energy is still beautifully unfolding. Let it gracefully meet you exactly where you are, and let it lovingly stay. I receive my abundance.